Welcome to the Uzziah Show. I am your host, Uzziah, your success strategist. And if you have any questions about your business, career, or finances, then this is the show for you. Welcome. I'm excited because tonight I'm going to tell you one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. This is very important for all of us to understand on our road to success. Now, if this is your first time joining, welcome. My name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant, and my job is to help you get out of debt so you can start your own business. And one of the reasons why tonight's broadcast is so important, because believe it or not, this has everything to do with your success in business and your personal life. If you guys don't walk away with this gem from tonight's broadcast, you could very easily sabotage your success. So tonight, you guys are going to walk away knowing exactly what you need to do in order to maintain the wealth that you've created. Because if you've been on this show before, you know this is all about becoming the best version of yourself and creating generational wealth. Now, if you guys like this broadcast, please make sure that you smash that thumbs up button. Please make sure that y'all show me some love tonight. Leave me a comment and let me know who's in the house, y'all. Okay, I want to see some commentary from y'all tonight. Give me your name, the city that you're from. How many of you guys are familiar with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? We're going to go into the details about the trial tonight. Y'all know it's just getting started, but it's something very important that we should all take away from this trial as it ramps up for us to focus on in our day-to-day lives. Even if you have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, this has everything to do with your life and your success. So tune into tonight's broadcast because this is a must watch episode. Okay. Now, for those of y'all that love this channel and you want to see this channel on air, make sure that y'all show me some love by giving a sponsorship. All you got to do is give a super chat, or you could use the donation links in the description below. Let's go ahead and go straight into this, guys. Y'all know I don't waste no time. We're getting straight into the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Now, for those of you that are not aware, Ghislaine Maxwell is facing 6 counts on a federal trial. And I'm going to share with you guys some details from a very important article in the New York Times about what is going on. It says, what happened on the first day of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? Miss Maxwell is accused of trafficking teenage girls to get busy with Jeffrey Epstein, her long-term partner. Y'all know I got to paraphrase this because of YouTube. Her defense said on Monday that she was being used as a scapegoat for him. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right off the rip that this is a very long article. I'm only going to give you guys the high points from what this is saying. As you can see in the photograph on the screen, you have different accusers of Jeffrey Epstein getting on trial, talking about all the things that he used to do back when they were teenagers. Okay, so it talks about how this trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former romantic partner and employee, got underway in federal district court in Manhattan on Monday with opening statements and testimony from one of the pilots who flew Mr. Epstein's private planes. So I want y'all to understand, sometimes things happen behind the scenes where just because folks have wealth, now they can use that wealth for wrong purposes. We've seen a lot of stuff happen over the years with R. Kelly. And even though this trial is just getting started, I want us to take away certain lessons from it, regardless of the outcome. Even though everything right now is still based upon accusations, I want us to walk away with some of the things that are being said. So you're going to read throughout this article about different women who had experiences with Jeffrey Epstein. For those of y'all don't know, Epstein passed away a few years ago, where he supposedly took his own life. And now a lot of dirt is surfacing as the trial begins. So one of the things that's talked about in this article is how the pilots didn't always know who was on the plane. One of the reasons why private planes are preferred is because not only does it allow you to get on a flight faster, you can also get past security. You don't have the same checks and balances to know who is who on the plane. So, guys, it talks about how on the first day of trial, prosecutors say Maxwell and Epstein were partners in crime. So basically, Ghislaine Maxwell is being accused of setting up a lot of young girls to be a part of Jeffrey Epstein's sexcapades. I want y'all to notice this. I'm going to just get to the key part right here. I'm going to just skip to the point. Flight logs from Mr. Epstein's planes, made public through civil litigation, showed that the passenger list often included prominent politicians, academics, and Hollywood celebrities. A lawyer for Miss Maxwell described the flights as a Hamptons jitney in the air for Mr. Epstein's friends and associates. This is where the rubber meets the road. Even though this dude is no longer living, there's a lot of people that's shaking right now because their name is getting caught up in all of this mess. And that's the reason why I want us to reflect on this trial, because there's something that we should take away about all of what's going on. As we can see, some of the most prominent people in society being put on Front Street, there are very important lessons that we should learn about success if we want to get to the next level. So let's talk about it. What is the one thing that we all need to know looking at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? The one thing that we all need to learn from this is that competence will get you there, but character will keep you there. We are looking at another scandal of a high profile celebrity who had a successful run for many years based upon their competence and their skill set. But most people undervalue character because it is something that we do not celebrate in this society. Y'all will watch all kind of stories about guys just like Jeffrey Epstein, who may have been very talented, very smart, very successful. And while we try to pattern ourselves by talented people, one thing that's separate from talent is character. Now, for those of y'all that might have looked at the documentaries on Netflix, this guy had houses all over the world. This dude had places on the East Coast, West Coast, international. Dude was paid. But one thing that separates being paid from everything else is there's a fine line between competence and character. Your competence may have gotten you to the money, but your character will take it away. And one thing that a lot of successful people will tell you is that the price of fame oftentimes outweighs the hard work that it took for them to get there. All of the sleepless nights and the hours that a person puts into success, often people do that because one day they want to be successful. But when they get in the public eye and some of their potential sins get aired out on Front Street, being scrutinized where people pick your life apart at every turn, it outweighs a lot of the upsides that people enjoy about success. A lot of guys like J. Cole, for example, he did a song talking about how he feels like being broke is better, because when you find yourself in a place of top success, you don't have any privacy. Everybody is talking about you in the tabloids. Everybody is writing about you on social media. A lot of people are slandering you. So do you want everything that comes along with your greatness? You need to notice, guys, there's a big difference between competence and character. And while competence might get you up the ladder, not having a level of character will take you down that ladder just as fast as you climbed up. We need to understand this is one of the things that goes into reputation. It takes forever to build a solid reputation, but only one bad decision to lose it. And as we strive to become the best version of ourselves, we got to understand that as much as we work hard and hustle, all it takes is one bad decision to ruin it all. Let me check out these comments. Shout out to my brother, Yasha Allah. Thank you so much, King, for the $20 super chat. Shout out to Yasha Allah in the house. Really appreciate the sponsorship, sir. Tonight, we're talking about one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Even though we're looking at people's stories that have nothing to do with us, based on circumstances, this trial has everything to do with us when we think about the importance of character on the road to success. Jeffrey Epstein was very successful because he was very competent. But right now, his character is being put on question. How many of y'all think that having great character is just as important as competence on the road to success. You know, a lot of times we'll look at successful people and we'll say, oh man, you know what? This person is probably a thief. This probably person probably had to steal from everybody to get to the top. Some people might get to the top through deceitful ways. But if they lack character, they will not stay there for long. Eventually, your chickens will come home to roost. And it takes a good amount of integrity to maintain the success after you got it. I don't know if y'all really hear me tonight. Let me put the link. I want y'all to cam up. I want y'all to tell me your thoughts on the importance of character. Is success all about working hard, or do you need something else on top of that? The reason why you must have good character is because success is about longevity. And the only way that you're going to have a good image in the public eye year after year is if your character is flawless. Now, let me say this, guys. When I talk about flawless character, I don't mean that you have to be perfect. Every last one of us makes mistakes, but how you deal with those mistakes makes all the difference. You know, if you try to cover up all of your wrongs, if you try to destroy everyone else on your way to the top, that's going to come back to haunt you. And I want y'all to realize that when you look at successful people, people that operate at a world-class level are typically those who have had a decorated path for 10 years or longer. Think about guys like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. These are guys that had over a decade of long-term success. So if you want to be able to have success and good fortune, you have to be able to maintain that success over a long period of time. Now, you may be smart enough to get to success for a day, but the thing that will hold you over from one day to the next is your discipline and your integrity. You cannot stay at the top for long if you don't have good character. But the reason why nobody talks about character on the road to success is because it's not monetizable. See, when you apply for a job, they don't ask you about your character right off the rip. They ask you, do you have, these skills? Do you have this college degree? Do you have this many years of experience in the workplace? But that does not define what kind of person you are. So you could apply for a job and you could be very educated and be very good at what you do. But behind the scenes, you could be a womanizer. You could be a liar. You could be a thief. You could be all kinds of things. And those are the characteristics that ends up backfiring on high profile people. A lot of times when big companies hire people, they don't do enough homework on this person's character. And so we're constantly going to see stories in the tabloids about pastors, politicians, entrepreneurs, movie stars, athletes who were at the top of the heap in terms of their talent, but they were absolutely disgusting in terms of their personal character. True success is when your competence and character is one. But the reason why society never tells you to focus on this is because your character is not directly tied to the bag. But just know this, y'all. Without having a character, anytime you make money, you will lose it. Any status you have, you will sabotage it. Everything that you work hard to build will be undone because of your bad reputation. And all it takes is one bad decision to ruin 5, 10, 15 years of work. This guy, Jeffrey Epstein, he had built an entire life of massive wealth, being associated with some of the most successful people in the world. And now those people want to have nothing to do with him, all because of this situation. Now, let's start getting some comments. Y'all know I want y'all to cam up. Oh, my brother G Moses in the house. Shout out to the brother G Moses, man. I know he's speaking in code when he's giving me that tea, y'all. But this is a brother that I think is very learned on good character. I would love for G Moses to just come on and do his 1-2 thing about good character. I know you're not going to cam up with me, G, but just, here's an opportunity. You could tell A for life that you don't look like Kanye. You could tell A for life that you're looking in the camera. Whatever you want to do, King, get on camera and just tell the people about the importance of good character. Until then, I'm going to give a shout out to my sister, Kim McGrory. Now, for those of y'all that are just now joining, tonight we're talking about one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Y'all see I done my homework on this. I done took the time to properly enunciate this woman's name. See, y'all got to credit your boy for that. Because I want all of y'all to walk away knowing what success is all about. See, a lot of y'all know that I've spent the past decade of my life being heavily involved in ministry. And one of the reasons why a lot of guys aren't frontline when it comes to that is because their day-to-day is not good for business. What I mean is, it's very hard to be able to find someone that can consistently be used in ministry, because that means you have to have a good relationship with your wife. It means you have to have a good relationship with your children. It means that you need to operate your emotions at an even keel. It means that you need to show a consistent pattern of being wise. It means that people got to rely on you as a leader. And the problem is, most people can talk a good one for any moment in time. But can you keep that same energy going for the next 5, 10, 15 years? This is the reason why it becomes so hard for many of us to really maintain success, because we oftentimes get in our own way. We oftentimes find ourselves in toxic relationships where those relationships will undo all of the focus that we had on our success. Look at everything that's going on with Will Smith. One of the things that I can admire about Will Smith, despite how some of his reputation has been tarnished by everything that's going on with Jada and her entanglement, is somehow Will Smith has successfully found a way to stay consistent in his career path, despite what's going on at home. A lot of us have not learned the art of how to do that. So every time something happens, our career just kind of takes a fall. You got to learn how to build your life in such a way where you're able to produce consistently and not have too many start stops. Start stops means you start down the path of success and creating generational wealth, but something diverts you from it to the point where you have to start all over again. Some of you guys, you'll start businesses and something happens in your family or with your friends that 6 months into the business, you're totally sidetracked and now you've lost all of your momentum. So now you have to start your business again from scratch. Do you have what it takes to maintain a consistent track record of good character? Because while competence might get you in the room, Your character will keep you in the room. And that's one of the things that I can attribute to so many successful people that I know personally. When I think about my brother Gilbert Moses, I think about a man of upstanding character. It's not enough that he's just smart, because the world is more abundant with smart people than it is people of good character. You might feel differently. But see, it's easier, I think, to be book smart than it is to actually walk in discipline and godly order. A lot of times we don't want to show up in godly order because that's hard to do. So you could go to school and you could put in 4 years of an education and you can graduate, but your character is something that lasts for a lifetime. Are we willing to discipline ourselves to be consistent with a pattern of good works over a life? This is the reason why I always say you got to put the Most High into everything that you do so that he can order your steps to walk a more righteous path. Now, let me get into some of these comments. For those of y'all that are on, we're talking about the one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. If y'all are feeling tonight's broadcast, please make sure that y'all smash that like button. Please make sure that y'all donate so that we can keep this show on air. All you got to do is just give a quick $ tap. Just tap that $ icon directly below the live chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. Or for those of you that like using Cash App or PayPal, the information is at the bottom of the screen right now, and it's in the description below. Okay, all you got to do is press the link in the description. Kim McGrory says, "Too true, sir. I have an associate who's been in business for 30 years, has narcissistic tendencies, nearing retirement, afraid of being broke in her golden years due to poor planning. That is a function of character." Now, it's obvious that this woman has enough competence to be in business for decades. But if you lack character, you will get in your own way. I like being around people with good character. That's the reason why I like being around brothers like Gilbert Moses. Y'all got to check him out. Make sure y'all subscribe to Moses Family Values so that way you can understand how to order your house, okay? And shout out to the bro G Moses for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, King. Let's give a quick shout out to our brother, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tonight, we are getting it in, y'all. If y'all want to be on tonight's broadcast, then please cam up with me. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the importance of character? The reason why this society is so cold is because there's all this focus on money, but there's not enough focus on spirit. But the people who will themselves to have a good spirit while being competent are those that can hold on to their money over time. A lot of people are going to go through this society being a one-hit wonder because, like Kim said, your talent might get your foot in the door, but because you're going to piss everybody off once you're there, that's the reason why you're not going to thrive. You have to make sure that you make just as much investment in your personal character as you continue to develop and grow as you do your professional development. One thing that I want to really hone you guys in on tonight's broadcast is if you're going to get to the next level, you have to be equally invested in your personal and professional development. Now, see, I know a lot of people, they will tune into my broadcasts and they only want to get all of the hacks and tactics about how to level up financially. They love it when I do a broadcast about investing in real estate or investing in crypto because they think that success is about tactics and tips only. You could have all of the tricks in the world, but if you don't have personal development, there's no way that you're going to maintain the success that you have. So, what happens if you actually get to the bag and you become a multimillionaire? Think about how many celebrities and athletes go broke within 5 years. The reason why they do that is because their personal character does not match their professional development. You have to have enough personal development to go along with all of your professional success. Kim says, you are describing her perfectly. Educated, charming, can hold a conversation, has all the answers, knows her business, but little personality, emotional intelligence is very low. This is very important, y'all, because y'all got to understand how to read people. If you're going to be successful in your life, you have to know how to build positive relationships. And the reason why so many relationships are failing is because there are all of these superficial qualities that gets us in the relationship, but the day-to-day maintenance is all about character. Think about marriages. You know what, brothers? You could get with the finest woman in the world. You could take her on dates and you could just be blown away by all of her beauty. But after you get yours, sometimes that sex is going to wear off. And then you're going to find out the real her. You see, beauty might be a way of enticing another person, but character is what will maintain the relationship. I don't care if you're talking about business. I don't care if you're talking about relationships. Character is always the foundation of success. And the reason why we often have so many dysfunctional family relationships is because some of us have grown up in households where maybe you had a mother or a father that was very competent. But then when you were in the house with them, during times when nobody else could see, they turn into a totally different person. And that's the reason why you will sometimes see successful people who will be celebrated in the public eye, but privately behind closed doors, their family cannot stand them. Will this be your legacy? A lot of y'all are going to turn this broadcast off and be like, yeah, I know this. But then you end up being the one person who's all competence and no character. I'm telling you, y'all got to really understand character has a lot of levels to it. It's about how you deal with adversity, how you treat people who have nothing to offer you in return. There are so many levels to character that when you actually rise on your level of success and competence, for every character trait that you lack, life is going to have a way to push you back down. You see, life, I'm telling you, man, life is funny like that. Imagine you are okay. I'm gonna give you all a prime example. Let me give you a prime example. My wife is a corporate superstar. She is a engineering manager for a $1 billion company. And when she was running this team full of all of these really intelligent guys, programmers, guys that have all this high IQ, she would work with guys that would just cause so many problems unnecessarily. And there was this one guy, I'm not going to say no names, who, despite being fairly competent, he just got on her last nerve. It's like it didn't matter how easy a task was. He just found a way to make it hard. Y'all know people like that? People who, you know what, if they just shut up, if they just didn't talk, then maybe they would be okay. But because every discussion turns into an argument, no one actually wants to be around that person. Nobody wants to do business with them. Nobody wants to be on their team. And everybody asks, how can this guy get fired? You don't want to be that type of person as you are building your career. You don't want to be that person working for somebody else, and you don't want to be that person as an entrepreneur. I know a lot of y'all want to boss up and, oh, I'm going to, set my own schedule and have my own hours. But when you are a boss, you are being bossed around by other people. My bosses are my customers. They tell me what I got to do every single day. And the thing that helps me establish relationships in business is my character. In fact, a lot of my clients will tell you, I don't need to be the smartest guy in the world. I don't need to be the hardest worker, but I have to show them good character at all times. If I made a mistake, I have to own up to it. And this is how you get long-term retention of clients along the way. There's going to be times where you make mistakes, guys. We're all human, but your character will reveal itself. So just take some time to rate yourself in both areas. If you could rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how high do you rank when it comes to your professional development? And how high do you rank when it comes to your personal development and your character? If you are a 9 or a 10 professionally, then that's great. But if you are a 10 professionally while being a 3 in character, then that makes you very dangerous, because that means you're going to go very high up in an organization just to have the opportunity to tear the entire organization down. I've seen stories in all arenas about very talented, highly gifted people rising to the top of organizations, and because their character did not match their intelligence, the whole organization suffered. Yasha Allah, it's good to see you on, my brother. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah, shalom, big brother. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, character does matter. Because I did that for about 3 years. I was a PI. And like your wife, walking in corporate, you got people who are called, what we used to call them, assassination characters.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I did. I got paid very well.
Wow.
I got to know who you were, know your likes and your dislikes. But in my mind, I'm trying to get close to you so you can open up. While I'm taking notes. Because the lawyer don't pay for it, the wives don't pay for it. They assassinate your jobs. That's the way it is. What kind of dirt can you give this person? Because they trying to get your job. They do it every single, and people, and the thing about it is, people don't realize that it goes on. Yes, it does. My job's a PI, I'm impartial. That's what the way it was. I can't do it. I'm impartial. Dispositions, I was pretty good at it. Because I'm going to get under your skin to know who you really are. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes. Now, I love all of what you're saying right there. And I think, man, that's definitely an occupation, man. Shout out to the brother Yasha Allah, man. He's a man of many talents. Yeah. One thing that I do want us to talk about is how everything that glitters ain't gold. The reason why I want to talk about that with you, sir, is because, there's a lot of people that will walk away from a situation like this, and they would say to themselves, well, we spend so much time. By we, I'm not speaking about us specifically. I'm talking about society. Society spends so much time glorifying all of these high-profile people. And I think this is a lesson in why we ought not to be envious of other people's success, because you really don't know what type of person that is at the end of the day. A lot of people are suspecting that as this trial unfolds, some pretty big names is going to come out of the hat, right? In terms of people who might have been involved in this. And I think one of the takeaways that we learn as a lesson is not everything in this life is what it seems. And that's the reason why, even if you perceive that other people are winning, that should not inspire you to take shortcuts to get where they are. I think it would be really good of you, sir, if you wouldn't mind, to just kind of speak on that, just based upon your years of experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about how sometimes people will be so quick to rush into things that they undervalue character, and how everybody is not who they portray themselves to be?
Yeah, because it's they're taught get the glamour
Right.
by any means, not realizing you're gonna have to pay for that glamour you want.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have to pay for it. That means this due's gonna be due.
Right.
And people want to collect. Don't believe the hype saying you don't owe me anything. No, you're gonna owe.
Yes, sir.
When they come calling, they don't care what it is, you're going to owe. Or if not, your stuff will be out in the streets before it's nothing. Because they got something called your character.
Yes, sir. And
you know what I mean?
One thing about that, when we talk about character and, like you said, getting to success by any means necessary, this is the reason why I tell some of my clients that when you set up a business, you want to create win-win relationships in your business model. What I mean by win-win business model is try to build businesses where the only person that benefits from it is not just you. So, for example, a lot of people are familiar with the story of McDonald's. And the guy that really made McDonald's big, Ray A. Kroc, he undermined the McDonald's brothers greatly to be able to get his success. Well, as fate would have it, I think that the way that the story went was he had some of his kids that died before him. And one of the reasons why some of his kids died before him, supposedly, is because they were spending so much of their life eating McDonald's. So the same business that he used to become successful financially ended up being the same thing that ended up, taking some of his kids out. The reason why I'm bringing that into the subject about success and character is a lot of people will look at somebody like a Ray A. Kroc and say, oh my God, this person is so successful. They started up one of the biggest empires, that the world has ever seen, but yet few people know the story about some of the consequences that he went through because his success and his character wasn't the same. So could you kind of just continue to give us more? You really spoke to me when you talked about that, by any means necessary. I think this reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses that says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? And I think that's one of the most important reasons why I really love doing what I do, because I get to build a platform helping other people be success for free on YouTube. And as a result, it comes as a benefit to the both of us. Tell us a little bit about that, Yashala, in terms of, people valuing success superficially more than character, and how that comes to backfire on them from time to time before it's all said and done.
Yeah, because the world think money handles everything, and it doesn't. It just doesn't. Like me, I'm a certain age. I always try to say I want to do a little bit of everything, and I did. 2 years this, 3 years that. I got this job doing this, and that's what I did.
Renaissance
and you meet
man.
a lot. You meet a lot of people. I done met some movie stars. Listen, they're not what you think they are behind closed doors. No names mentioning, but they're not who you think they are. Bands, they're not who you think they are. It's an image. Promoters, they all have to produce a certain image. And the promoters don't care nothing about your personal life, long as you look good and make the money. And when it's all said and done, you are washed up. Nobody loves you.
Right.
But your character is going to matter. I go through it right now every day. Some people in my family, I'm very close to it. Just I can't stand them. Very close. I ain't gonna mention no names because they get back. Very close.
Yes, sir.
But I cannot stand to be around. We cannot be in the house within 5 minutes, man. And there's too much negativity. And because I grew up with that, I've seen that. You know what I mean? It's just like, and you try to tell them why, they don't want to hear anything.
Yes, sir.
And they miss. And as they get older, they get miserable. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But
because the character,
you got to build like correct. It catches up with them, and then sometimes it's just too late. Like me, I've been in my character. They know I don't pull no nonsense. I cut you off, man. I ain't got time for it, bro. Not your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog, your sheep, your cow. I just don't have time for it. I'm gonna tell you my spiel. You can take this way or that way, like trucking. Dude, this I've been doing for years. I'm not a broker. I don't work in the office. I don't do none of that stuff. That's not my field. But come to this truck, how it works, how it moves, how it functions, how it operates, how things go, how drivers think. I've been doing this since 1988, back in the old days when they didn't have power steering. They didn't have air ride. You see what I'm saying? And, I mean, I went to places back in the day. Listen, before a certain time, I was out.
Right.
And that's the way that was just the reality of it. So what you want to say, you know what I mean? But it's, hey, you had your choice. But
yes, sir.
They don't, but they're always calling me, hey man, I know you cut me short the other day, but my truck's going on, and I give them the info.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But they know this, man. You go to him, bro. He trucking. A certain thing, he gonna cut you off if you come wrong.
Go ahead.
They're like, he gonna cut you off. He ain't got time for it. I don't.
Now, one thing on that, in terms of character traits, right? And I want to focus a little bit more on this. Gilbert says the character isn't tied to the bag until what's done in the dark is brought to light. I think that's something important that we should focus on, because I think a lot of times we don't see the duality of how that'll get you on the front end as well as the back end. What I mean is you have to have a lot of character within yourself to stay focused on the mission that God has given you before your success is ever realized. So before anybody recognizes your talent, your skill, and your craft, it takes a certain amount of character to believe in yourself and just labor in that until you get to where you want to be. So that's one way of how the character isn't tied to the bag on the front end. Now, on the back end, you work your way up into a high-paying position. You know, you're a six-figure earner. The money is good. But the character isn't tied to the bag until what's done in the dark is brought to light. So at work, at your 9-to-5 job, you look like the perfect person. But behind the scenes, you're committing crimes. And so eventually those crimes catch up to you. And that's when the character gets tied to the bag, because once it comes out of the darkness into the light, that's what gets you fired. That's what gets you put on a suspension. Like, that's the reason why we see all these types of scandals popping up with all these different police officers. And some of them are put on leave indefinitely because they've gotten into a position where they're being paid for what they do. But then once they've been in the role long enough, there's a character set within some of them that takes them away from the actual justice of the law. And so I just want us to reflect on how on the front end and the back end, the character isn't tied to the bag until what's done in the dark is brought to light. A lot of people, they don't become successful on the front end of their character because they lack having enough character to get to success in the first place. They don't know how to establish connections. They don't know how to build relationships. They don't know how to work with anyone outside of themselves. And that's the reason why the success always passes them. But then on the back end, some people may be good enough in character to know how to shake somebody's hand, to know how to put a smile on their face. But because they've got skeletons in their closet and they're on demon time, that demon time is what's going to take you away from being successful over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, even in light of all of the controversy about the Bill Cosby situation, and I'm not getting into any details on that per se, I'm just giving you guys that example to show how this brother was prominent in the media his entire life, but based upon something that was brought against him concerning his character, this was something that tarnished this man in his latter years. So, you know, I bring this out, Yasha Allah, because I don't know about you, sir, but I think that there's a lot of people who desire success, but they are so blinded by the illusion of money that they don't understand that getting money or the success that they perceive that it brings is tied into so many other things outside of money that just you chasing money on its face will stop you from getting it. If money is the only thing that you are about, that's actually going to stop you from making the money because you do not have the character to obtain it or maintain it once you have it. And you said it's so much harder to stay successful than it is to get successful.
And that's the key point, because I've done it. And it's fear and pride. I was one of the first of the top 6 in a big company of blacks that owned a truck back in the day. So I used that to the T. Don't get me wrong. It happens, people. Don't think it cannot happen to you. If you're not rooted, especially now in the truth, it can happen to you. It's that easy. Because everybody likes you for one thing. And that pride getting there, that ego getting there, and you think you up here, but you can be taken down. And everybody hates you. They want you for one reason. That's it. To get theirs.
Absolutely.
They don't care nothing about you. They really don't care about you. Because it took me a long time, man, to realize that, man, because I had a bad reputation. It wasn't about being evil. It's about towards women. Sister, Eric, don't kick me. Mama Mia, don't beat me up. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a dog. You know, raised around Q, I was a big dog. That's the way it was. My name was K9 Dog Pound. That's the way I lived the life. I acted life. Like you said, it's the character. And when I came to the truth, I met other people typing the word. They wasn't having it, bro. They wasn't having it, bro. And it took a long time. Hey, man, I'm not that way no more. I'm not a womanizer no more. I'm not this no more. It took a long time to start like, daggone, he's really serious. You know what I mean? And I didn't blame him because I did it to myself. Those years and years, that was my character. Now over the years, now they started, hey man, can you tell me what the word is, and so and so and so and so, and you have to maintain that now. You know, I gotta keep this character. I can't go this way. I can't go that way. If I go home and visit, I see old friends. I hear them talking like you said. Hey, I gotta go, bro. I don't do that no more. And because your character.
Go ahead.
It can ruin you, and it can be that way.
And, you know, sir, that's one reason. What you just said reminds me of another Bible verse that says, a good name is rather to be chosen above great riches, right? A lot of times, and again, that's the Bible telling you about the significance of character over competency. Wealth can be obtained through competence, how hard you work, or the quality of the skill that you deliver to the marketplace. That's competence. But a good name is rather to be chosen, because that character that you build for yourself, that's going to turn into a legacy that will live on for you after you're gone. Like, people still talk about Adolf Hitler now. And when people talk about him, it's usually not in a positive way. That's his character lasting for him long after he's gone. And people do this all the time. People might mention guys like Mussolini, Napoleon, Alexander. Some of the most prominent names on the face of the earth will go down for how grimy they were during their time. So this is the reason why I think it's always important that we reflect on what is the legacy that we want to have. What do you want people to say about you after you're gone? Because you can start planning right now to build your legacy. Don't wait until after you're gone and then, oh man, I wish I could be around to figure out what people would say about me. No, you can help to influence that now by laying a positive foundation. And it starts and ends with character. We may all have certain positions and certain jobs, but the money and the jobs, they come and go. The character that you build over your lifetime, that will stand out for you for the rest of your life. And what's so funny, Yasha Allah, one thing that you always talk about on this broadcast is your father. Man, I wish Gilbert was on for this, was still on right now. I wish he could hear this part because I think this part is so heavy. When my father passed away, I was at his grave site, and when I went into the front office, they had me in there privately. Nobody else was there. And they asked me a question. They said, what would you like to have inscribed on your father's tombstone? And I found a lot of power in that because I said to myself, wow, had my father had horrible character, I could do something right now that will define this man for the rest of existence, right? And I think I think a lot of times people don't really resonate with that because they only think about themselves right there in the moment in their time. Like, they never think one day you're not going to be here. So what happens when you're the son that's in the funeral home and you're filling out a form and it says, hey, what one thing will be said on this person's tombstone to define them for the rest of eternity? And the thing that I had put on my father's tombstone is the nicest man in the world. Because for anyone that knew my father, that's who he was. I'm not on his level in terms of that nice. I might, have to get real with you every now and then. But I just wanted to be known, even though my father worked his entire life, the one thing that defines him is his character. It's not the money. It's not the cars. It's not the women. It's your character. And I just want us to understand that as we go through this superficial life, we have to transcend beyond the superficial plane. I know some of y'all might not be hearing what I'm saying right now. Some of y'all, it might be like this going on in y'all's thoughts. But what I'm telling y'all is, if you can will yourself to not get so caught up in the pleasures of this world to see your legacy, you know that you are responsible for building a legacy that money can't buy. Because at the end of the day, it's never about the money. The only time we talk about the money is based upon the options that it can present. Being able to have the option of being able to travel, being able to spend time with your family, being able to look out for somebody in a time of need. If you're not making money with the intent to improve your options, you failed. Because what's the point of money and just money alone? You see what I'm saying? So again, even when we get into this money pursuit, a lot of times the pursuit is only as good as the character of the person that's in the pursuit. Because a lot of times people will say things like money can't buy happiness, but you got to examine the character of the person that's getting money. Sometimes people will be of such high character that they can use the money to do incredible things. So you can't tell me for that type of a person, they're not going to feel happier because of all the good that they've done. But a lot of times we tend to look at money as just something that's just on a superficial level. And this will be the reason why they'll have that saying, because oftentimes when we think about the subject of money stereotypically, we think about people that will take their money and only spend it on material goods. It'll only be on, let me make sure that I can flex on them with my house. Let me make sure I could flex on them with my car. Let me make sure I could flex on them with my Jordans. But we've got to start operating more off of substance rather than style. I don't want to keep you on here all night, sir. Okay, for those of y'all that are on tonight, we're talking about one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. If y'all don't learn nothing else from the outcome of this trial, I want you to walk away with the fact that competence can get you very far, but your character will define how long you stay there. All of us want our chance at success, and some of us may get it. But if you do not have character commensurate to the level of your intelligence, there's no way that success is going to stay with you for a long period of time. I was trying to find a more third grade level word to throw out there, but I just couldn't find it in that moment. So I had to hit y'all with a quick SAT one. I know, again, if Gilbert was on, he would appreciate that. But y'all, if y'all enjoyed tonight's broadcast and you want to see shows like this continue to be on air, please make sure that y'all donate, because this will go a very long way towards keeping this broadcast going. Yasha Allah, thank you so much, my brother. Is there any last words that you wanted to throw out there?
Yes. Also, character comes from how you was raised with family.
Facts.
Oh, that's gonna be a part of you to the day you die. That's what it is. You're gonna pick your father, your mother, who you're around, your grandmother. How you was raised is also gonna be there too for your character. You know what I mean? 'Cause my father, cut it real short, when he left the house to go to work, he kept that separate. Always. He didn't go to job, talk about his wife, my stepmom, my lover. He didn't talk about his children. He didn't do any of that.
Yes, sir.
And when you come to visit him on the job, because he was a car salesman, top one, guess what? He like, no, my son, we going over here. He didn't want you involved. And I'm 60. He's still that way today. He want his time. He don't want nobody to know about his son. He's a good son. That's it. And I want him. He's not person like that, because he tell you people out here are trying to get you. So you got to keep certain things separate. You know what I mean? And I love that in him, because I have a lot with that in me too. You know what I mean? No, keep that separate. You don't do that. You don't mix and mingle. You know what I mean? That's the scripture. Don't let every man's in your house. Paraphrasing, right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But the people, here's my kids, and guess what? I'm gonna say no one saw any pictures of my children, and I'm 60. Right. If you ain't family, I don't need to show you. For what? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to show you. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? Let's be personal. Like you say, keep your group. It ain't happening, bro. It just not. You know what I mean? But besides that, it's because you get older, you think about a lot of things, man. I'm telling you, people.
Yes,
I'll tell you my faults. My faults. I didn't have nobody that's coached me. You know what I'm saying? My faults. When you get older, you're going to think about a lot of things constantly. Because you got to make everything in place before you go off this earth.
And I bet a lot of the things that you think about as you get older are things pertaining to character.
Right.
The character that you have, the character that you want, the character, maybe that you may have wished that you had at an earlier stage in life when character may not have mattered as much in your mind, and the example that you want to leave with your family.
Right. That's true. You know what I mean? Because I had another cousin died early last year, an elder cousin. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And the thing about
Yes,
it was, I love his character. I don't care how wrong I was. He never ever put you down when you talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what do you think you should do?
Yes,
do you
sir.
really think that was right? You know what I mean? And he was in the truth. Do you really think that was right?
Yes,
What are you
sir.
trying to leave behind? He was a lot older than me, so why not listen? I'm like, yeah, cousin Otis. Yeah, his name's cousin Otis. You know, but I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I had to do the right thing. But if you don't have somebody sitting there to hear certain things, you know what I mean? You get hateful, you get spiteful. You get older. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
You get older, you see your family members.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
they will be real resentful about certain things in life.
Exactly.
Real grumpy.
That's it. So that's what
I appreciate you not being of that character, sir. You know, I appreciate you always bringing your joy into the broadcast. Shout out to the brother Yasha Ali, y'all. I just want you to know, as always, sir, we definitely appreciate you for who you are. I definitely see you as a man of a great character. I think that your character shows just in how you conduct yourself every day in supporting this broadcast. And I think that that really speaks so much more about you, man, than words ever could. So I just want to thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for being a light to younger brothers like myself on the type of character that I strive to have as I try to grow as a man. So thank you, sir, for all that you do. Love you, appreciate your support, and Lord willing, I'll see you on the next broadcast. All right now. All right, y'all. So hopefully y'all have gotten a lot from the dialogue. The one thing that everyone should learn about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, if we don't learn nothing else, one thing that we must know is that competence isn't everything. Your competence may get you to a certain level of success, but your character will take it away if it's not good. Competence might get you far, but your character is what keeps you in the game. And I want to give a big shout out to all of y'all that have been commenting tonight. Let's keep the comments going, y'all. I see y'all got some really, really great insights. And I want to give a quick shout out to my brother of great character, my brother, Rodney Lawrence. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, King. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you for all you do on this broadcast. I pray that all is well with you and yours. Y'all, listen. There are so many of us that will discredit the value of character in our immaturity. It takes maturity for you to develop to really understand how much character truly matters. You know, character is about the decisions that you make when nobody is watching. Character is about the decisions that you make that are not in your best interest. A lot of people are very self-serving. A lot of people do things that are only to their benefit. And the more that you jeopardize your character, the harder it will be for you to grow and thrive throughout your life. If you can make a point of really investing in your character, I promise you, good fortune will come your way. There's too many of us. We look to all of these celebrity figures and we think, oh man, we need to follow what they're doing and this and that. And then when drama pop off, we realize, hey, you know what? Maybe we were better off being ourselves. Okay. So let me give a quick recap of everything that we went over on tonight's broadcast. The one thing that we need to understand is that competence will get you to the top and character will keep you there. We all think that we got to be smart and hardworking, but that's not enough to maintain the success that you've worked so hard to earn. You have to always have good character to maintain your success. People think that character is not important because it's not monetizable. Nobody offers a job application saying, may the most well-rounded person of good character, please sign up. And as a result, people are so busy chasing this bag superficially that they don't realize that character has everything to do with your success long term. Anybody can hit a lick, y'all. Anybody could be hot for a day or two. But the people that last the longest are those that discipline themselves enough to develop and stabilize good character from one year to the next. And that's how you become successful and relevant for decades, not just a few hours. Okay. You got to understand competence is about what you do, character is about how you do it. And success is all about building relationships. It's about how you treat people on your way to the top. Some of these guys, they get all this money and they end up doing the craziest of things. And I think that's the reason why Kim said more money makes you more of who you already are. So if you are nasty, mean spirited, materialistic, prideful, having money is only going to make you more of that character. If you are kind, compassionate, humble, a giver, and God fearing, you're just going to use money as an instrument to bring more kindness into the world. Think about who you are, guys, because if you don't think about it, when your story unfolds, life is going to dictate your narrative. You don't want to be in a situation like Epstein to where now you're gone and this is all people remember about your life. Focus on your personal development and your professional development, and you will see your success grow over time, guys. No matter where you're starting right now in your life, time tells the truth. So just stay operating in good character, stay being diligent, and over time, the success will follow. Okay. So, y'all, as we wrap up tonight's broadcast, I want to hit you with two things. First, I want to hit y'all with two free stocks. Y'all know that the Uzziah Show is sponsored by Webull, one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. And on Webull, you can invest in stocks as well as cryptocurrency. So for those of y'all that are looking to become investors and you want to level up and create generational wealth, then this may be your opportunity to get started. As soon as you create your account, you'll be able to have those two free stocks just as soon as you begin. So, guys, the second thing that I want to do is this. I always talk about how if you really want to be successful, bring the Most High into everything that you do, even your worldly affairs. And I want to close this out tonight with a particular verse out of the book of Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 26. It says, "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them." Even if you are a man or woman of good character, make sure that you surround yourself around people who value character also. Because one of the things that we can learn from this Epstein trial is that it's not just about the person that did the wrong. It's about everyone that was associated with him. Because whether they were involved or not, they're now guilty by association. And you should think about that in the company that you keep. How are the people in your circle helping you get to the next level or tearing you down? Be careful who you associate with because it will fall back on you. And the bad character of others can have a way of taking you away from your integrity. This is one of the reasons why I am very conscious about the environments in which I place myself. And if I find that this environment is not healthy for me, I make the adjustments that are necessary, even if it's a hard decision. Sometimes you may love people, and you got to learn how to put yourself at a distance just so that way you can continue to level up and grow and not be held back. by toxic thoughts. Okay. So, y'all, I appreciate all of y'all for hopping in on tonight's broadcast. Once again, if y'all really love tonight's broadcast and you got a lot of value from it, then please donate to the show, guys. You know, these sponsors, they really keep the show going, because there's no way that I would be able to do this show 6 days a week, putting all this time into these broadcasts, if I was not able to get sponsored along the way. Okay, so thank you so much to my sponsors. Shout out to the brother Rodney Lawrence for the $5 sponsorship. Really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you, King. Keep growing, keep striving, keep using you in the way that God knows how. Shout out to my brother Gilbert Moses, man. You know you're my dog. Really appreciate you, my brother. Much love to you and yours. Make sure that y'all check out Moses Family Values. Last but not least, y'all know I can't forget the sponsor of all sponsors, my brother Yasha Allah. Shout out to Yasha Allah. Listen, y'all, right now, he's the official sponsor of tonight's broadcast. Y'all know every time I do one of these episodes, whoever gives the highest donation is regarded as the official sponsor of that broadcast. So as people go back and watch the show, they'll see it's your name tied to this show. So our brother Yasha Allah is our official sponsor for the broadcast on the one thing that everyone should learn from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. And maybe that's because you're a man of character, Yasha Allah. It's only fitting that you be the official sponsor for tonight's broadcast. Listen, man, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Even if y'all are watching this broadcast after the live stream is over, you can still donate. All you got to do is click the links in the description below. You could donate through PayPal. You could donate through Cash App. I want to give a quick shout out to somebody that gave a sponsorship just a little bit earlier. I want to take this time to give a quick shout out to, pulling it up on the phone. I want to give a quick shout out to the brother Brian Leaks. Thank you so much, brother Brian Leaks, for the $3 Cash App. Really appreciate you, King. Thank you so much for all of the support that y'all give, man. Listen, man, anything that y'all give towards the broadcast, I really appreciate y'all for what you do, because it's a sign of your character that you would take the time out of your busy day just to donate to this show, even when it's not live. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right. I appreciate you, Sheer Queen. Thank you for all the love, my sister. Shout out to the sister Sheer Queen. Shout out to all of y'all that are in the house, man. Listen, I do this show 6 times a week, Sunday all the way through Friday. I do this show typically between 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure that y'all are on with me tomorrow. This channel is all about how to level up in your business, how to level up in your finances, how to create generational wealth. And we're going to go over everything that is associated with success, not just one area. I want to make sure that I give you all I can in the time that God has put me here on this earth to help make as many of you as successful as I possibly can. And with that being said, y'all, make sure that y'all soak up this game, and make sure that you please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you can receive an alert whenever I do another show. Please be your brother's keeper. Don't keep this broadcast a secret. A lot of y'all probably know people that want to be successful, but because their character sucks, it's never going to happen for them. So just share this broadcast, maybe tag them in this on social media. Tell them to check it out. All right. And hopefully I'll see y'all, Lord willing, on tomorrow's broadcast. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Thank y'all for tuning in. And until next time, keep